Hey there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your reading for the middle of June 2021. We are going to jump right in here and we're going to take a look at your current energies. And that's it. So make sure to check out your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what is going on for you at this time. But Sagittarius, and by the way, I have instructions in the pinned comment down below on how to find your sun, moon, and rising. So if you don't know, make sure to check that out. But Sagittarius, let's see here. You have this Thief card coming up here. You also have the Knight of Swords showing up here as well. The Knight of Swords is definitely my card of needing to get a second opinion on something. And so I would say that, you know, with this Thief card here and the Knight of Swords, I would say if you're paying any money for anything expensive, right? Number one, I just wouldn't with this combination here, but sometimes there are things we need to do, right? We need to, maybe your car broke down, you have to buy a car or something. You know, what I would say here with the Knight of Swords is that I would say get a second opinion. So, you know, for example, and especially if somebody is telling you that you need to spend a certain amount of money on something, like if you go to a mechanic and they tell you, hey, you need to spend $1 billion to fix your car, I would get a second opinion. It's probably not true. The other thing to remember here is not everybody's a liar, right? Sometimes a reading like this, it's not really saying that this person is a thief, right? You know, I don't think life has to be so dramatic, but maybe they just don't know a way of doing things. You know, I always think of, you know, I personally have worked in real estate for a very long period of time, and one thing that I always think of in real estate, in working with people who are in real estate, is it's like sometimes like a contractor, for example, they just don't know a better way of doing things. And then there's like another contractor who does know a better way of doing things, and they can do things cheaper because they know how to do it better. And that's kind of like what I'm getting here. It's like if you're doing anything to your house, if you're doing anything to your car, if you're doing anything to anything, and they're claiming that it's going to cost all this money, you might want to get a second opinion because maybe it's just somebody knows how to do things differently or better. It's kind of funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it's interesting to me that, you know, we have this weird, we had this weird eclipse in Gemini, and, you know, the eclipses in Gemini can definitely bring out the truth or bring out both sides of the issue or an issue or something that you're dealing with. Both, basically, it just says both sides exist simultaneously, right? But it's up to you to find the truth. So again, if you're dealing with anything that is financial or whatever, anything that sounds too good to be true, it could be a person as well. You know, there could be a person coming into your life here and they could be claiming this, that, and the other thing. I would just do your research. Yeah, you have this concern card as well. I actually kind of like that this concerned card here is showing up for you here, Sagittarius, because I feel like it's saying that you almost would feel concerned about something. You know, it's like, so if someone comes to you and says, you owe this, you owe that, you owe us this money, it's almost like you are going to have a feeling, you know, of concern. I feel like that is your clue from the universe to pay attention, right? You have the Knight of Swords, the Seven of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles here. Even the Seven of Wands. Look, how interesting is this right here? I'm going to describe this to you. Knight of Swords, the person coming in, you know, that could be telling you you need something. Knight of Swords is like the used car salesman in tarot, right? I actually happen to like used car salesmen, but just to give you an example, right? It's like someone who's too cool for school, someone who's trying to sell something. Seven of Wands is boundaries, and Nine of Pentacles is you being protected. So, you know, I would say set healthy boundaries, especially with anything financial. I would say no get-rich-quick schemes, no nothing. If someone, no scams on the phone, like if someone's calling you, telling you you owe money and all that other stuff, I would be very careful of all those things here, Sagittarius, just so you don't get taken advantage of in this first route. The rest of the reading is more positive, so I don't want you to, you know, don't be all worried about this, right? Yeah, Two of Pentacles, you know, someone who's juggling financially. Here, you have the moon, fears, right? I would say, especially if someone is using fear to take control of a situation, right? You know, I would be very careful of that. I think people don't understand also, like, fear as well. You know, another way people can take advantage of you, it's like, if you think about it, right? What does a, you know, like a, I remember hearing this old story from a salesman, and he was talking about what's the first thing a plumber does when he comes into your house, right? A plumber comes into your house, he bangs on stuff, he's banging around, knocking on things, looking at things. All a plumber has to do is like sigh, you know, go, you know, make noises and things like that. They don't even have to say anything when they're looking at your problem, or an electrician, or, you know, anything, somebody looking at your car. They don't have to say anything because we consider them to be the expert, right? I kind of get a situation like that where there could be someone coming in and it's like you don't know the details. The moon, there are things hidden where you aren't the expert. Someone could be hemming and hawing, making a lot of noises, right? And they could convince you or make you feel like you need to spend a bunch of money. I don't know. It's like the only story I get here, so I'd be very careful of that. Same thing in love as well. Again, if you start feeling like weird about a person in love that maybe you've recently been seeing, I would be careful of that as well. I feel like the truth will come to light. I wouldn't, this isn't, I would pay attention is what I would say, Sagittarius, but it's not something that I feel like you should be overly concerned about. Obviously, pay attention. Mercury retrograde, right? And so I feel like paying attention is always a good idea. But I feel like you're protected. I feel like you are fine, right? I feel like you'll get through this. Even the sun, the truth will come out. For some of you, I feel like this is a situation where the truth has come out. This is your past position. If you don't know, I read with a loose spread. So I do past, present, future. But again, I read intuitively. So sometimes I get future stuff over here or past stuff over here. But again, I do feel like this is something that could have happened in the past. You have this Judgment card here. So there could be some sort of rebirth coming in for you. If you have already been taken advantage of in the past here with this first row, this could be like a second chance, or you could be kind of like healing yourself at this time. And I say that mostly because you have these Six of Swords. So you have these Six of Swords, the Page of Cups, and the Queen of Cups, really kind, caring energy, really taking care of yourself. What I would say is that the Six of Swords could represent a guide, someone in your life who you look up to, someone who's a mentor, like a mother, or someone who takes care of you, right? This person, if you have a person like that in your life, they might be able to help you get away from a situation like this, number one. Number two, the Six of Swords, normally there's a guy in the back of the boat on the Six of Swords, and he represents a guide. He goes back and forth between the choppy waters. So the universe could be kind of guiding you away from a sticky situation in the first place here. Other than that, I do feel like this could be love that's coming in for you in this row. So I do feel there could be like a new person coming in for you here. I just want to get some details on this. Empress, you're very attractive at this time. I like this. You're kind of having your glow up here. To go from the moon to the sun could be some sort of like glow up energy here where you're feeling more empowered. You're feeling like you're in a better space. You have the King of Swords. There's the Mentor. King of Swords is a card of the Mentor to me. So there could be a mentor, someone who's guiding you. Could also be a person who's older than you coming in for you in love. As I always say, to me, the King of Swords could just be someone who's mature. It could pretty much be any sign. It could be an air sign, could be a water sign, but it could be any sign. This is just a general reading. So I do feel there could be love, new love coming in for you here. Yeah, and you have the Three of Wands as well, card of expansion. A lot of expansion and growth in this middle row. So there's a lot of abundance and a lot of like opportunity coming in for you here in this row. For some of you, I feel maybe in this first row, you just feel taken advantage of in the past. I feel like maybe you were, because, these are not great cards, right? The Thief card, the Concern card, then you have the Seven of Wands as well with the Moon. It's kind of like really trying to protect yourself. So I feel for some of you, it's like you've dealt with someone who kind of took advantage of you in the past. To me, this is something much better. Even you have the Ten of Cups over here, which is your happily ever after. So I feel like there could be like a much better, much better connection coming in for you here with this energy. So I like to see that. I'm getting something about an airplane as well popping into my head. Some of you might be taking a trip, or you might be moving or traveling or going to a new location. And I feel like that would be very good for you as well with this energy. I feel like for some of you, I am getting a weird message here, Sagittarius. I'm not going to lie. I'm getting like the word refinement on this card. The Empress could be a card of refinement. It could be, she could represent, kind of perfecting something. There's this wheat right here on the card. But what I mean by refinement is wheat has to be broken down, right? It has to be ground up so that we can use it to make bread or whatever. And I'm sure everybody who's gluten-free is going to leave me a comment saying they're gluten-free, so I get it. I am too. But, I'm just giving you an example here, all you gluten-free people. But, yeah, I feel like there's something in your life that you've been working on. It needs to go from its, like, raw form to something more refined. So if you've been working on any projects or businesses, I feel like you're, like, this close. It's like you're right on the edge of having something that is very, that will be profitable, or that will lead to other forms of abundance maybe in your life, but it needs to be broken down. I feel like it needs to be kind of refined. So for some of you, I feel like you need to bring something, it's almost like you're bringing something to a finer point, right? And that's what I would say here. I always like to remind people that it's not like generalists, people who are general, who do something general, they usually aren't as successful as someone who does something specific in life, right? It's like if we look at a doctor gets paid a lot of money, of course, but if you're a brain surgeon, you make like 10 times more money than being just a doctor. So I feel for some of you, it's like in work or career, there might be an opportunity for you to focus in. I think the problem with this is that sometimes I feel people think that if they focus, that they're limiting the amount of money that they can make, or they're limiting how successful they can be. I feel like that couldn't be farther from the truth. I feel like becoming more specific, becoming more focused on doing one thing is going to like greatly increase your abundance with that Empress energy. Love it. Next, you have the Tiger Spirit here. This is a card of like moon energy. In this deck, she says that this represents like moon energy, kind of like the feminine energy. So I feel for a lot of you that this is talking about trusting your intuition. I feel like you need to trust your intuition with this energy as well. You have the Three of Wands, the Ten of Cups, and the King of Cups. I really do get this like moving on energy in this row. It's the best way I could describe it. It's kind of a weird message here, Sagittarius. It's almost like you're just moving past something. Here, Ten of Cups is fortune after difficulty. So it, to me, it can represent moving on from something difficult that has happened. And that's kind of like what I get here for you, is that some of you are just kind of like moving on from something here. For others, you could be moving. Three of Wands can represent, kind of like moving. But I really feel like you kind of directing things in your life on that Three of Wands with this card here. Normally on the Three of Wands, there's a guy, there are 3 boats in the harbor, and we could look at him as a director. He's like telling those ships where to go. So for some of you, I feel like this row could also be talking about you kind of stepping up into a leadership role or a leadership opportunity. On top of that, obviously, I feel like there could be love coming in for you here. I would say it's someone very kind, caring, nurturing. Definitely very romantic. You have the Queen and King of Cups here. It doesn't matter what gender you're attracted to either. To me, this is just the energies of the person, of the two of you together, basically. So divine counterparts coming together here. So if you're looking for love, could be like a divine counterpart situation, and something that is really romantic, someone who's very kind, caring, nurturing. You show up, Temperance here, definitely ready to take the lead here, Sagittarius. You have the Tower here as well. I would, again, I feel like you're moving on from this over here, the Tower moment, and the Star. There you go. You're healing yourself. For some of you, this could be a person that comes into your life that really kind of heals you. It could be a person who's coming into your life who makes you better in a lot of ways. I don't think that, I don't think people should do things like that for us, but, I do feel like it helps. To go from the Tower to the Star is actually really good, because the Star comes after the Tower, and the Star represents healing from a Tower moment. So clearly you're healing from this situation over here. I do feel for a lot of you that, that this is, some of you I do feel like are going back to the drawing board. Like I said, it's like if you're I can't get away from this for you, Sagittarius. I'd say if you're in college, going to school, you might also be trying to get like a certification. For some of you, you might be starting over, I feel, but it's like you're becoming more specific. I feel like you're becoming a specialist. You're not just going general here in work or career. This is important because it's going to make you more money, or it's going to bring in more abundance, whatever that means for you. And, by focusing in on kind of like one thing instead of spreading, it's like you're not spreading yourself too thin here, Sag. Yeah, you have the Lovers. Definitely could be love. There's definitely love coming in for you, plain and simple. You have the Four Wands, marriage, coming in for you here. And the Temperance card, you, again, coming up in a very strong position. So for some of you, this could be you being at a crossroads, like having a choice to make. And I feel like you need to realize that the choice, the Lovers is being at a crossroads. Four Wands, a card of freedom. I feel for a lot of you that if you're kind of like choosing to specialize in something, or if you're choosing to refine something, make something more specific, it's going to lead to more freedom, not less. Again, I'm getting this opposite thing here. Two of Pentacles right here. I feel like there's a very strong need for you to realize that by kind of simplifying things in your life, by becoming a specialist in work, career, or any other area of your life as well, it's going to lead to a lot more abundance in your life, actually, and a lot more freedom as well. I feel like you're kind of making yourself more thin, not literally, maybe, but I think you're kind of making yourself lighter, right? And this is going to allow for greater flexibility, being able to move faster as well. I think by simplifying your life, which it looks like some of you are doing here, and even kind of like the messages that I'm getting, or like some of you could be getting rid of things. You could be spring cleaning, summer cleaning, getting rid of stuff, right? I feel like you're making yourself more mobile with this reading, and for whatever reason, that's important for you here, Sagittarius. Let's see. You have the Nine of Cups. Yeah, it's going to lead to wish fulfillment or fulfillment in general. You have the Three Cups, major celebration. Some of you could be getting married. Some of you now, I feel, intuitively. For others, soon. And you have the Ten of Swords. Yeah, it's time to change. I feel like some of you are just changing. With the Ten of Swords, you're releasing the old you, becoming the new you. But, Sag, this is not a bad reading. Again, I would pay attention to the reading. Pay attention, right? But other than that, I feel like you're going to be fine. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But this looks good. So thank you for being here, Sagittarius, and definitely enjoy your month.